Let us welcome the second speaker. The second speaker is Miss Sarika Jessie Kidd. Her speech title is, Do we care too much about how we look rather than who we are? Do we care too much about how we look rather than who we are? So Miss Kidd, please come up to the stage.
Thank you, Master of Ceremony, honorable judges, and questioner. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Earlier this year, my teacher gave my class a list of challenging topics to think about and discuss. It was a thought-provoking selection that included questions like, do you believe the media? What influence will technology have in our future? And does your name define you? When walking home from school that afternoon, I found myself thinking about one of the topics in particular. Do we care too much about how we look rather than who we are? I had initially skipped over this topic because it read like a rhetorical question. I felt that I was expected to answer, yes, absolutely. We teenagers only care about how we look. After all, as a teenager, isn't the assumption that I spend countless hours taking selfies and posting them online, Instagram or Twitter? That my self-worth is dependent upon the number of likes I receive? The criticism that we're narcissistic and materialistic is often voiced in media, TV, newspapers, magazines, and the internet. A book published in 2017 by Professor Twenge of San Diego State University referred to us as the iGen because we are the first generation to spend our entire adolescence in the age of the smartphone. The book stated that we are completely unprepared for adulthood. Repeated criticism is difficult to defend against given that every time I check my smartphone, brush my hair, or look in the mirror, it may be viewed as confirming what so many people already think. Teenagers. So what does this mean for me? Is appearance really more important to me than who I am? I will be honest. If I told you that I didn't care about appearance, I would be lying. How could I not care? As a 16-year-old female, it is impossible for me to escape social and cultural expectations as to what I'm supposed to look like. All I have to do is turn on the TV or log on to the internet and I'm bombarded with numerous images of beautiful women. Typically, these women are stunning. Impeccable hair, long legs, perfect smiles, and great bodies. You get the picture. They're advertising skin lotions, diet products, clothing, and more. Apparently, if you're attractive, you can sell anything from a new house to an electric drill. Why are the women featured almost always so stunning when the guys clearly do not have the same standards to live up to? If you're male, you're allowed to look like an average guy. It's fine to be old, overweight, bald, or short. This is a double standard that society should not accept. What message is the media sending women? The message is clear. We must be attractive to succeed, and our worth is determined by our appearance. Women are put under enormous pressure to fit a certain stereotype of beauty that is unrealistic. This makes us feel that we are not good enough and never will be. That we should only feel good about ourselves if we look good. So my question for you is, how as a female could I not care about how I look? Research reveals that teenagers' body image perceptions develop according to cultural depictions of beauty. Basically, what we see as being beautiful is what society tells us is beautiful. Moreover, evidence shows that the mass media is the most powerful and pervasive transmitter of sociocultural ideas of beauty. Exposure to unrealistic beauty standards results in body image dissatisfaction and triggers eating disorders. For example, an interesting 2002 study published in the British Journal of Psychiatry found that Fijian schoolgirls' attitudes towards body image changed dramatically before and after TV exposure. Before TV was introduced to the community, the girls ate well and felt negatively about weight loss. Following exposure to TV, there was a sharp increase in eating disorders as the girls tried to look more like actresses. This isn't just research. This is about real people. Now think about the unrealistic beauty standards we women see every day in Japan. It's no surprise that the Japan Society for Eating Disorders states that there are hundreds of thousands of women suffering in silence from disorders such as binge eating, bulimia, and anorexia. These often develop during the teenage years and are extremely damaging to physical and emotional well-being. They lead to serious health problems including heart disease, diabetes, and even death. Yes, eating disorders kill. While these standards of beauty and appearance surround us, to think that this is the totality of what shapes me or other teenage females would be a mistake. We are influenced not only by the media, but also by family, friends, and teachers who challenge us to dream and work hard. We are encouraged to focus not only on bettering ourselves, but also to consider how we can help others. I learned an important lesson when I was 13 that I will never forget. On a trip to Australia, my father told me that we would be having dinner with an old friend of his from university. When we arrived at the restaurant to meet her, I was stunned. My father had neglected to tell me that his friend had been severely burnt as a child in a house fire. She had no ears, lips, or nose, and her face was constructed of pinkish skin grafts. I couldn't help but stare as my father hugged her. Why hadn't he warned me? After spending time together, I found myself forgetting my initial shock as we laughed about the story she shared. When I got home that night, I asked my father, "Why didn't you say something about what she looked like?" He looked at me and answered, "I told you everything that is important. She is a wonderful person and a special friend." So in conclusion, what does this all mean? Yes, I do care about how I look. It is a part of who I am. However, please do not think that this is the only thing in teenagers' lives. We are far more complex and ambitious. We care deeply about the world we live in and how we can improve it. My generation has inherited massive global challenges. We are determined to work together to shape the future by confronting one of the most pressing issues of our time: climate change. We feel passionately about moving the planet toward a viable and a sustainable future. The media presents images of beauty that they assume women should look up to. Let me set the record straight. This is not who we are or what we aspire to. It is time for society to demand that women are valued for who we are and not for how we look. We are not decorations, toys, or puppets. As we move forward, we will strive to live meaningful lives and value ourselves and others based on what is real. What is on the inside? Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Kidd. Now, we have a question and answer session. Ms. Fukushima, please.
Thank you, Kidd-san.
Thank you.
I enjoyed your speech. Now, I want to hear a little bit more about your encounter with your father's friend in Australia. You said there was a big impact.
Yes.
So what kind of impact did you have, and how did it influence you?
Well, I talked to her, and she's actually a teacher. And that kind of inspired me because a teacher is a job where you meet many people. And I feel that, when you meet people, you want to look good. But she was so powerful, and she was so confident in herself. And that what she was saying and what the content of her stories and everything just had a lot of meanings, and they really touched my heart. So I felt like I want to share the message she shared with me, and I felt like I want to be a brave person like her.
Okay, now if you were in charge of selling a beauty product, a women's beauty product, what kind of commercials, what kind of advertisement will you deliver?
Well, I think that usually we'll see beautiful women selling cosmetics, makeup, and all those things. But what I like to see in the media is real women, all different sizes, different skin color, different hair length, like just real people who have experience and who have different things about themselves. And so I'll probably not sell the product with just one image of a woman, but maybe a few women that look very completely different, that highlights different features. And yes, I think that's what I'll do.
And now, how can a man assist in changing the mindset of society of, beautiful women?
I think that for men, it can, in advertisements, they see average men. And maybe somehow they're manipulated by saying that, oh no, these women aren't that gorgeous, like they're usual. But clearly they're not usual, like they're beautiful. And so that I think it's just a slow progress. I think women have to be brave and speak for ourselves, and then we can maybe slowly change everyone's thinking.
Okay, thank you very much, Kidd-san.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fukushima and Ms. Kidd.
Thank
Please
you.
go back to your seat.